The photo portrays a U.S. Navy sailor grabbing and kissing a woman in a white dress on Victory over Japan Day in New York City's Times Square on August 14, 1945. The photograph was published a week later in Life magazine, among many photographs of celebrations around the United States that were presented in a 12-page section titled Victory Celebrations. Soon it became a cultural icon. From the moment it first appeared in the pages of a San Francisco newspaper in March 1936, the image known as Migrant Mother came to symbolize the hunger, poverty, and hopelessness endured by so many Americans during the Great Depression. The photographer Dorothea Lange had taken the shot, along with a series of others, days earlier in a camp of migrant farm workers in Nipomo, California. Steve McCurry's photograph of the Afghan Girl, later identified as Sharbat Gula, became an iconic symbol of the plight of Afghan refugees during the Soviet-Afghan War. Her piercing green eyes and powerful expression resonated with people around the world. The iconic photograph of Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara, taken by Alberto Corda in 1960, is, according to the Maryland Institute College of Art, the world's most famous photo. The photo was taken on March 5, 1960, in Havana, Cuba, at a memorial service for victims of the explosion of a munitions boat, the La Cubra, the day before in Havana Harbor. Guevara was 31 years old at the time. The photograph depicts 11 men eating lunch while sitting on a steel beam 260 meters above the ground on the 69th floor of the near-completed 30 Rockefeller Plaza at Rockefeller Center in Manhattan, New York City on September 20, 1932. These men were immigrant ironworkers employed at the RCA building during the construction of Rockefeller Center. They were accustomed to walking along the girders. The photograph was taken as part of a campaign promoting the skyscraper. Not a fan of media hype and growing weary of being a spokesperson, Einstein was annoyed by their presence. Yet there he was, stuck in the back seat of a limousine, sandwiched between the Institute's former director, Frank Idelot, and his wife, Marie, unable to escape the flashing bulbs. "Enough is enough," he is said to have repeatedly shouted at the pushy reporters. "Hey, Professor, smile for a birthday photo, please," one shouts. In a gesture of annoyance, the unconventional free spirit stuck his tongue out at his pursuers, in a moment that was captured by photographer Arthur Sass. The picture quickly circulated around the world, becoming an iconic image. The Vulture and the Little Girl is a photograph by Kevin Carter, which first appeared in the New York Times on 26 March 1993. It is a photograph of a frail, famine-stricken boy, erroneously believed to be a girl until 2011, who had collapsed in the foreground with a hooded vulture eyeing him from nearby. The child was reported to be attempting to reach a United Nations feeding center about a half-mile away in Ayod, Sudan, in March 1993, and allegedly survived the incident. The picture won the Pulitzer Prize for Feature Photography Award in 1994. The photograph was shot on December 30, 1941, by Armenian-Canadian photographer Yusuf Karsh in the Speaker's Chamber of the Canadian House of Commons at Parliament in Ottawa after Churchill delivered his "Some Chicken, Some Neck" speech on World War II to Canadian members of Parliament. Churchill is particularly noted for his posture and facial expression, likened to the wartime feelings that prevailed in the UK, persistence in the face of an all-conquering enemy. His scowl has been compared to a fierce glare as if confronting the enemy. AP photojournalist Horst Faas took this iconic photo on June 18, 1965, during the Vietnam War with the 173rd Airborne Brigade Battalion on defense duty at Phuoc Vinh Airstrip in South Vietnam. The headband message, "War is Hell," typified an acerbic attitude of many young American soldiers who were likely drafted and sent to the remote Southeastern Asia jungles to engage in deadly and terrifying combat. A lot of the soldiers wrote graffiti on their helmets with inscriptions of their attitudes about where they were and why they were there. The contrast is what makes this photo iconic. You have this bright, young, handsome soldier with a smile on his face, and then you have the text on his helmet, Take the helmet out, and this could easily be a high school yearbook photo. His face betrays a sense of innocence, but when you look at his helmet, you can tell that he is anything but. You know that he has witnessed the horrors of war firsthand and is trying to cover it all up on the outside. This publicity photo from Charlie Chaplin's 1921 movie The Kid marks Chaplin's first full-length movie. He also wrote, produced, and directed the film, which critics consider to be one of the greatest achievements of the silent film era. In 1921, the year of its release, The Kid was the second highest-grossing film. The iconic Frida Kahlo as photographed by Tony Frizzle for Vogue magazine in 1937. Frizzle's photos would later appear in a feature called The Señoras of Mexico. While well known for her outdoor fashion portraits, Frizzle never learned the finer points of shooting film in a studio.